Lizardi, right now we are getting a report of a severe thunderstorm warning on this Storm Tracker 4 alert day. We are going to get right to Storm Tracker 4 meteorologist Daniel McFarland with the latest. Daniel.
Well, Angelique, about half an hour ago, we had an update of a severe thunderstorm warning next to Sahuarita moving into Tucson. So the new one is a kind of a continuation from that first warning, and it has most of the city of Tucson over the area. The first impact you're going to see is a dust storm that's been moving through portions of the city. It's been very windy out there. In fact, recent information from the National Weather Service has said they have measured a 72-mile-per-hour wind gust just on the south side of Tucson. So the wind and dust is the first thing you're seeing out there. This current severe thunderstorm warning will be lasting until 3:45, and the latest information we have for you on it is that hail is going to be possible, and there's also looking at potential for wind gusts outside of that one area I talked about as high as 60. So let's go ahead and check out the hail tracker with it and see how things have progressed, because if you were with us earlier, we were talking about potential marble size hail. Looks like it might be a little bit bigger just over towards the east side of Sahuarita right there, and that's going to be tracking up towards Houghton Road as well. So again, most of the city of Tucson is going to be covered with this until about 3:45. And if we look at how strong the storm is, so keep in mind the taller the storm, the stronger the thunderstorm is, and it was around 45,000 feet earlier. This looks to be the strongest spot to me, and it looks like it's beginning to fall just a little bit. The height on this one fell to about 30,000 feet, but keep in mind, since it fell about 10,000 feet here in about the last 10 minutes, that's what's causing the stronger winds at lower level, kind of like a microburst like we sometimes see here in southern Arizona. It looks like the most of that core is going to be making its way through the south side along Houghton Road. So this is a quick look outdoors where they just had a ton of rain. You can see some standing water there in the background as well. I also did see some dust with this view a little bit earlier through the Storm Tracker 4 Skycam network. And a closer view of where the heaviest rain is happening, it's mostly getting closer towards the interchange with I-10 and I-19. So if you know anyone going on the interstate right there, make sure they can find a safe spot to pull on over, because this heavy rain is going to be lasting for quite a while. Now, if you take a closer look here over towards the western side of the storm, I'm expecting some stronger winds over on this side right now. So this is going to be, looks to be along 22nd Street and closer towards Speedway. Really where you see that gradient between the green and the yellow is where you're going to have the strongest winds. That's also going to be impacting Park, that's south of I-10. So if you live there, keep that in mind. Heaviest rain seems to be around the Keno area along Ajo Way. So let's check out the rain rate with some of this. And what we have going on here is going to be potentially rain that's about 3.4 inches an hour. So keep this in mind. If the storm stays still right over that spot, that's how much rain they could be seeing over the last little bit. And plenty of this is going to be continuing to make its way across the area. Now, the dust storm warning is still going to be in effect for about another half an hour. I expect if you live in areas like Oro Valley, Casas Adobe, you're likely seeing that impact as well. Latest information, though, from the National Weather Service here is that this will be producing hail up to 1 inch, 60 miles per hour. And it does seem like the southwest side of Tucson is that one that saw the 72-mile-per-hour wind gust. And there's recent information here from the National Weather Service that shows two different areas seeing 69-mile-per-hour wind gusts also on the south side of town. Now, as far as any reports are concerned, it looks like there is a wind report. Let's go ahead and see the latest information on that one. Yeah, right there on that south side of town. I want to take a closer look at where this happened to give us a better idea. It looks to be real close to the airport. So this is where we measure most of our monsoon impacts here. It looks like all three wind gusts were picked up near the airport. So if you live along Valencia, if you're down near Aero Park Boulevard, if you're over towards Corona Road there, that's where the strongest winds were earlier. And as I mentioned, that's going to be changing over the next little bit as well. So just setting the stage one more time here, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for about the next 45 minutes or so. The dust storm warning, if you live on the south part of it, I'm not really seeing the dust there for you. It's mostly going to be the Oro Valley area, Pitcher Rocks, potentially even Drexel Heights as well, is what we have going on. So that's the main storm we're looking at. And what I saw with it is that a lot of lightning earlier when we first saw it popping up. But over the last 15 minutes, it doesn't really seem like we've had too much lightning with this system. In fact, none at all. So that does tell us the system is dying as it's tracking up towards the north, but still heavy rain and wind is going to be your biggest impacts with this. And as I mentioned, hail is something else we're looking at. So if you live closer towards the foothills, you are going to start to see this impacting you a little bit later on. Right there along the U of A is going to be another spot expecting this to move in as well. As far as where it's headed next, it is just moving straight up towards the north. This isn't going to be a storm that's tracking towards the east like we sometimes see during monsoon, so keep that in mind. And this seems to be also the strongest one we have at the moment. What I want to do is kind of give you an idea of how long it's going to take the heaviest rain to reach some of these areas. So checking out the storm cone, heaviest rain seems to be right about here. And let's go straight up and include Oro Valley in this. So if you live near the foothills, 3:25 is the time for you where I think the heaviest rain is going to be reaching you. Oro Valley a little bit later at about 3:45, but I do think the system's going to be a whole lot weaker during that time. And the U of A just here over the next about 7 minutes or so is going to be when you're expecting it to move in. That does include High Corbett Field as well. So the good news is that the system is starting to drop. We saw it go from about 40 to 30,000 feet earlier. Checking back in with the high, it's continuing to fall. But as I mentioned before, whenever you see a system fall this quickly, that moisture has to go somewhere and it's going out. So that's what's causing the strong winds here, is that the thunderstorm's falling apart as it moves through the east side. Strong winds still an impact here over the next little bit. But Angelique, don't be surprised if we do see this system end a little bit earlier than normal. We'll have another update on this severe thunderstorms warning for you in just a few minutes.
Daniel, thank you so much. Some important things to keep in mind too with these rains and wind and other issues happening right now.